Welcome to the My Brain, My Happiness podcast. My name is Joe, and on each episode, it is my goal to spread awareness on mental health. No, I'm not a therapist, a psychiatrist, or a medical doctor. I'm just a guy who has had a lifelong relationship with mental illness, specifically OCD. Together with you, I want to blow the roof off the stigma that comes with having a mental illness. You need to know you're not alone. I promise this podcast will be upbeat and positive. My goal with each episode is to make you understand that you don't have to take this on alone or in silence. Now let's change some lives. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to episode 23 of My Brain, My Happiness. I don't have a huge topic that I have scripted out to talk about today where I did a lot of research on it. Today, I'm going to kind of talk about myself and my journey with medication. I'm going to crack open my Diet Coke and we're going to sit back and we're going to relax a little bit here. So I have been on medication for my OCD, anxiety, depression, for most of my adult life. Now, there's been times where I've gone on and off it, and I came to the conclusion that I don't function well being off of the medication. And but there's side effects that come with being on medication, especially when you're a guy, right? There's sexual side effects, and, there's some people get suicidal thoughts, which to me is such an oxymoron, man, when you're on antidepressants that it can actually make it so you get more depressed. It's bizarre to me. Anyway, so I decided about a couple months ago, that maybe more than that I wanted to start to wean myself off of the Zoloft that I was on for my OCD, because I had felt good, and I really wanted to see if I could get my old vibrant self back, if you know what I mean. And so I started, under the direction of my doctor, I didn't just wing this. I started to cut back on the Zoloft. So right now, the normal doses I was taking was half a pill every day. And then I cut back to half a pill every other day. And I noticed a difference, and I was happy about that. So then it went to half of a half every day. But I did notice that there was changes going on with me. And I noticed I was more anxious, more irritable. And I knew, I was self-aware of that, and I knew that that it was probably because of the change in the medication, but I wanted to give it some time and let it go. And so this went on for months, and my anxiety was higher, and oh God, I just never felt right. Well, let's fast forward to last weekend, and I'm on the golf course. And listen, I'm kind of a hothead when it comes to golf anyway, but not over the top, not any more than anybody else really. But I wasn't playing well, and I literally was losing my mind. I was smashing my club into my golf bag. I was just giving everybody a bunch of shit. I was just full of rage. I was full of anger. I had a freaking argument with my son, and he did not deserve it. And I realized, it clicked with me, you know what, dude? You gotta accept the fact that you need to be on the regular dose of the medication. So I am back to half a Zoloft every day. And I've already noticed the changes in me. I feel calmer. My anxiety is down. Depression is a weird thing for me because it really depends on what's going on with me in my life. I have this thing where I work a regular job Monday through Friday, and I work from home, and my office is down in the basement. And, my job that I have isn't the most fulfilling job in the world. It's okay. It pays the bills, but I feel like I was meant to do more. I feel like I was meant to be out here trying to help people, or on TikTok trying to help people, or wherever. And that's why I went out and got my life coaching certifications and things like that. So I'm always battling a bit of depression, especially Monday through Friday during the day. It's like once the work is over, and I'm home, my wife is home with me, and, she's my best friend. And so the depression kind of goes away. And then I just know that I got to go through with it the next day. Now, when I'm talking depression, I'm not talking this deep, I can't get out of bed, I can't function kind of depression. It's just kind of a little bit of a sadness that I have, and I really experience it in the wintertime. So let me take a sip of my Diet Coke here. Oh, my goodness. So there's some other medications that I'm on, too. So for my anxiety, I take Buspar, I take clonazepam, and I take Xanax as needed. Now, that's a lot of anxiety medicines. And I don't take them all at once. Well, I do take a Buspar every day, and I do take a clonazepam every day. I don't take a Xanax every day. And those really they were keeping my anxiety, under wraps until I started cutting back on the Zoloft. And when the anxiety went through the roof, I called my doctor, and I was telling him, I said, hey, I'm having some serious anxiety issues. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't seem to, I can't focus. I'm trying to study for exams and things like that, for my job, certifications. And I just, I'm not absorbing anything. And so he put me on this other medication to try to help with the anxiety. And it's called Seroquel. And I don't know how many of you have heard of it, but it does work amazing for anxiety. But some of you may or may not know, depending on how many of my episodes you've listened to, that back in 2022, I was pushing about 270 pounds, and my knees were so bad I couldn't even walk. So I decided that I needed to make a change, and I went on this. I joined Noom, and I started exercising and counting my calories and all that stuff. And I lost 80 pounds. I got all the way down from like 260 something to, my lowest I was at was like 176, right? And then, over the summer, my wife and I, we had a little bit too much ice cream. So I was in the low 190s, but I was really happy with that. Like, people thought I was too thin when I was in the low 180s, high 170s. And so I felt pretty healthy in the 190s. Well, I'm going to tell you something. This Seroquel, I gained like 10 pounds out of nowhere. I don't know where it came from, because I am not doing anything different than I was doing before. I'm still counting calories. I still walk 12 to 15, sometimes 20,000 steps a day. I lift weights 3 times a week, and sometimes I break it up, but whatever. I still I hit all my muscle groups 3 times a week. And all of a sudden I've gained this weight and I can't take it off. No matter what I do, the weight will not come off. I started doing some research. Guess what? Seroquel, in 75% of the cases, people gain weight. It's like the number one side effect of it. And not only do you gain the weight, it's so hard to take off. You always feel hungry on it. And so my doctor put me on that for my anxiety. So the next time I go to see my psychiatrist, I'm going to talk to him about coming off of it, because it is an antipsychotic. And the last time I was on an antipsychotic, which was risperidone, they didn't want me to stay on that long term. So I got to imagine they probably don't want me to stay on this long term. It seems that I did, watched a lot of YouTube videos and stuff. It seems like a lot of people who were on the Seroquel were gaining 20, 30 pounds. Like, they just couldn't stop it. And I am terrified, absolutely terrified to get heavy again. Now, right now I weighed in this morning at 204. All right. So you're talking about a guy that last year at this time, I was probably in the 180s, in the mid 180s somewhere. Okay. So I don't want to be over 200 pounds. Now, people tell me that I look great and I look fine, but I don't feel great, and I can see that extra layer of, fat around the stomach and all that. And so I need to get to it. And I'm always out trying to motivate people and tell them they got to move every day. And it is so critical to move every day. And it's so critical, especially when you're in your 50s. It's important at any age, but especially after 40, after 30, after 40, your muscle mass or it starts to decrease rapidly. And if you don't do something to reverse that, you're going to age fast. You just are. Lifting weights is like the fountain of youth. And it can literally, kind of reverse the aging process. And there's some supplements that I take. I take creatine every day. I take a fish oil. I take a vitamin D. These are the things that I try to do to keep myself healthy. So, plus, like I said, back to the regular dosage of the medication. I'm kind of sad because I don't think I'm ever going to be able to come off medication. I feel my OCD is still there. It's not as intrusive as it was back in the day when I was, had these horrible, horrendous thoughts, and, thoughts about hurting myself or hurting people or hurting my kids or whatever. They were terrifying. The thought that I would had cancer and was dying, and, you would have these absolutely terrifying thoughts from the minute you woke up to the minute you went to bed. And so I don't want to go back to that either. So I'm a little stressed right now. And that's really all I wanted to talk about today. I know I usually come out here and I try to be motivational and all that, but I'm feeling a little stressed out. And this is like people talk about their journal. This is like my journal for me, getting out here and making this podcast. And I haven't even been doing that many of these lately because I just haven't had the motivation. And that was another thing I noticed with me dropping my medication. My motivation level to do things was dropping rapidly. I was so into making these podcasts, and I didn't care how many people were listening to them. But so I'm going to try to get back to this on a regular basis. This is the first one I've made in a few weeks, but we're going to get back. Excuse me. We're going to get back to it, and I just hopefully can just keep spreading the message of mental health awareness and the word of positivity, and try to make everybody's life just a little bit better. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, and I'm a psychiatrist, whatever. I'm just a guy who has a mental illness, and I honestly think I have more than one. They all kind of tie in together, right? They really do, because if you are having an OCD moment, your OCD can cause anxiety or it can cause depression. The side effects from the medication can cause depression. Obviously the Seroquel that I'm on is causing me weight gain. And so I feel like it's a constant uphill battle for me, because I'm putting in the work and I'm putting in the effort to stay healthy. And yet I gained this weight. And so we got to do something about that. Whether it's cutting calories or burning more, whatever. I just need to do something. So yeah, we're working in that direction. Anyway, I'm sorry that there was no real big message to this podcast today. Just a little bit about, me. And I know that I always am out here and I am talking about what you should do to make your life better. But I'm going to tell you right now, the most important thing is self-awareness. And that is something that takes a long time to develop. But once you develop self-awareness, you have all the power. And I'm proud of myself for having the self-awareness to realize, Joe, off the medication, no good, no bueno, right? No bueno. And so, I'm just trying to get myself straight. And as a matter of fact, at the time of this recording, which is April 25th, 2025, this morning, I did take a certification exam for my job. I'm in cybersecurity. I took a certification exam today and I passed. Now, the last one I took, when I was all fucked up and not on the right medicine, I failed. So there you go. It's obvious. It's obvious that I need it. And I know that some people don't believe in medication. They want to use a lot of natural herbal stuff or, breathing exercise. Whatever works for you is fine. Really. I'm not going to knock anything that gets you through whatever it is you're suffering from. Never. But for me, I need the medication. And God knows I fucking tried to stop it. I don't know, like 4 or 5 times in my life. And I don't know why I didn't learn after the first 2 times that it's just not possible for me. And I'm 56 and I just want to live a happy life. Anyway, thanks guys for listening to me today. Babble on about myself. I promise that my next podcast will get right back to, messages of positivity and, how you can live a better life and coping skills that you can use and all that good stuff. Looking to get more guests. Oh, I don't know if you guys listened to my podcast that I had, I don't know, like 3 or 4 podcasts ago, but my buddy, I had my buddy Rich on, who at 48 was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and then a few years ago got diagnosed with ALS. Turns out, after like 2 years of thinking he had ALS, the doctors looked at him and said, "We don't think it's ALS," because it wasn't progressing. And now they've diagnosed him with something else that's not progressive. It's not going to get any worse. I forgot what they called it. I want to say he called it PLS, but I don't remember what he said. And so he doesn't have ALS. Can you imagine that? Thinking you have that for a couple of years and then finding out you don't. I can't imagine. It's like, gotta be like winning the fucking lottery. Just amazing. And I couldn't be happier because he's such a good friend of mine. And, anyway, I want to say, thanks again. And I hope you guys all have a great weekend. If it's Friday for you, because it's Friday for me. Whenever you're listening to this, I hope you have a great day, great night, great whatever. I love you all. This has been My Brain, My Happiness. Peace, and have a great day.